Kungamsang Nabalenge. Welcome back. Here's a rundown of today's key moments from the Tibetan Parliamentary session. Chaired by Honorable Speaker Kimbosam Tembela, the sixth day of 17th Tibetan Parliament-in-Exile's 10th session convened at 9:30 with a start question, Kata Chengitiwa, raised to Honorable Sikong by Chitu Gedong Puba Tojila. This is the fourth start question of the session, which basically pertained to two specific statements made by Honorable Sikong. One during the fifth sitting on the 9th day of the 9th session of 17th Tibetan Parliament-in-Exile, and another during his settlement visitation program. In his remark, he stated that, I roughly quote, the situation of Tibet during the 5th Dalai Lama was different. After that, what happened during the 6th Dalai Lama, what happened during the 7th Dalai Lama, and what happened during the 8th Dalai Lama. And on another occasion, he further stated, if we look at the historical situation, it is more eligible for the Tibetan Autonomous Region to fight for independence. So Chitu Gyatong Phoba Tojila expressed his disappointment at the distortion and misrepresentation of historical facts concerning Tibet's territorial sovereignty. His questions were as followed. So first was, when referring to the territory of Gandepodang government, why did the Honorable Sikong not include all the three traditional regions of Tibet? Further, with regards to the periods of the 6th, 7th, and 8th Dalai Lamas, how can he substantiate with evidence the claim that Dodo and Dome were under China or Manchu? Lastly, concerning his statement that it is more eligible for the Tibetan Autonomous Region to pursue independence, he asked, what is the underlying reason that makes it justifiable to assert fundamental claims only during the period of the decline of Gandepodang, while no such claim were made during the flourishing period of Gandepodang, its political authority, nor during the earlier eras of Sakya dynasty or Tibetan Chogyam Empire. Kong Sikyong then cited the Article 26, Clause 3 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in seeking clarification on the distortion and misrepresentation of the historical facts concerning Tibet's sovereignty, Tibet's territorial sovereignty, to bear responsibility to prove evidence to support his statement. So in response to the questions, Sikong replied, as already mentioned in Parliament, apart from the period of the 5th Dalai Lama, the historical circumstances of the subsequent eras are well-established historical facts. So to the second question, Sikong stated that I've never claimed that Dodo and Dome were part of Manchus. He also added that Tibetans, Mongolians, Manchus, and Chinese are all distinct ethnic groups. Finally, to the last question, he replied that this was expressed in the context of Tibet's overall situation. So the fourth start question gave rise to further supplementary questions, to which Sikong Pemba responded by insisting that the Chitu bears the responsibility of providing supporting evidence for his statement. He added that he would not respond to any supplementary questions. This in turn resulted in several points of order, a letter namsha being raised to Honorable Speaker, urging that the Sikong be held accountable to the Parliament, along with requests for him to reconsider. Ultimately, before the close of the sitting, Sikong provided answers to the supplementary questions. So the parliamentary session then proceeded with the clear passage of the first and the second reading of the following bills related to the Tibetan Supreme Justice Commission. So we have the Article 63, Clause 4 of the Charter of the Tibetans in Exile, Article 2, Article 5, Clause 4 and 5, Article 7, Clause A and D, Article 9, Article 24, Clause A, Article 25, Clause A, and Article 33B of the Tibetan Court of Judiciary. That's Tsenchu Pimi Timshi Khan ki Timno Wongzi ki Tsenzi Timi ki Timchar. And likewise, Article 6, Clause 4 and 5, and Article 10, Clause B of the Tibetan Code of Civil Procedure. That's Tsenchu Pimi Timshi Khan ki Jima Dushir Dulu Tsenzi Timi ki Timchar. Hereafter, Committee regarding the situation and related laws of the Tibetan Medical Association presented its report on the review of the regulations concerning the status of the Central Tibetan Council of Tibetan Medicine. So the committee members, parliamentarian, provided clarifications to the queries raised by the Member of Parliaments during the first reading. The proposed amendment to Article 6, Clause 1, A, B, C, F passed for the second reading, whereas the correction to the proposed amendments that to the Article 6, Clause 1D to the regulation passed to its second reading. Following which, Parliamentarian Yuta Okatang, Chair of the Committee on Legislative Amendment of the Rule of Budget, presented the committee's report on the review of the Rule of Budget. That's Tsenju Pimishungu Dogu Tang Logungun Zingustansi Ki Dishi. So, during the first reading of the amendment, the committee's chair and the secretary provided the clarifications to the queries raised in the House. Following an very active deliberation in both the readings, the proposed amendments to Article 5, Clause 3, Article 7, Clause 1 and 6, and Article 9 of the Rules of Budget were repealed, having failed to secure the necessary votes. So in accordance with the agenda, the House proceeded with the first and second readings of Article 10 of the Rules and Regulations of Salaries and Other Allowances for the Supreme Justice Commissioner and the other Justice Commissioners, as well as Article 10, Clause 2 of the Rules and Regulations on salaries and other allowances for Sikong and the Colors. Meanwhile, the proposed amendments on Article 16 of the Rules and Regulations on salaries and other allowances for the Supreme Justice Commissioner and the other Justice Commissioners, the Chief Election Commissioner, the Chair of the Public Service Commissioner, and the Auditor General of the Office of the Auditor were all repealed as they failed to secure the required votes, which is the 2/3 of the members present and voting. So the legislative procedure of the rules and regulations for the parliamentary procedure and conduct of business having been frozen during the 9th session, the previous session of March, the House once again resolved to defer the bill until the next, that's 11th session, to allow a further clarification within the legislature. Then, as per the list of revised business, the House continued with the undertaking of the Department of Security, that's Desung Legu, for its concise report of 2024 to 2025 and its various jurisdictions from yesterday's sitting. So Desung Kale Gedrobla provided clarifications on the queries, recommendations, and concerns raised in the House. These included challenges faced by the holders of certificate of identity, we call it IC as well, while traveling across the world. Then commendation to the department alongside caution reminder regarding the security of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. Suggestions on the video testimony project of the Tibetan political prisoners was tabled. Then recommendations concerning the lottery system for the former political prisoners seeking Australian immigration were also outlined. Then suggestions in regards to the registration certificate, RC of the Tibetan refugees in India were made. And then on proper management of official events of the CDA hosted at Zuklakhang was raised, among many other matters. So for tomorrow's list of business, the deliberation on the Department of Security will continue, followed by the presentation of the reports from the Department of Information and International Relations, Chire Legung, and thereafter the Department of Health, Tude. So the House today adjourned at 7 p.m. and will resume at 9:30 tomorrow. So this was it for today. For tomorrow, there'll be many deliberations, as I mentioned earlier, on the coming departments. And so I think this is what we'll be focusing on tomorrow as the list of business were released today. Laho, dharan samchegi tasle.